Hi guys, good morning. Let's jump into my first worst job experience. I was 21. It's my first retail job I've ever had. I'm not gonna mention the name of the company or the store because I feel like I don't want to like stir up some problems, because number one, this place, it's very well known. Number two, I don't think it's appropriate for me to just call out the company, because at the end of the day, like, yes, the company hired these people, but I want to believe that not like that the company isn't like that. Like, these are just a bad group of people that just happen to work for the company. So let's jump right in. For this little mini story time, we're gonna give 3 people a name. The first person, she is the lead. She is like the higher up. She is the go-to person. She's the one who will hire you and fire you if she has to. We're gonna name her Jessica. Then we have the one who's a manager. For the manager, we're gonna call her Natalie, I guess. Jessica and Natalie. Then there's the assistant manager. She was such an angel. I'm gonna call her Angela. I've been working at this place for a month. I'm gonna say a month. And obviously, I'm still new. So I'm working at this place and it's a seasonal position, you guys. So holidays are coming, people are acting crazy. I didn't know what to expect, because all my friends and all the people that I've like spoken to who have had retail jobs have always told me like, you're gonna hate it, it's the worst, like, you won't be able to stand people. And in my opinion, I was just kind of like, I thought people were dragging it, because number one, I've worked in education, I've worked in hospitals, I've worked in companies, like private companies, and I was a camp counselor, and like I've done jobs where like I've had to deal with people of different ages. So to me, when I heard people my age, like back in the day, talk about like, oh, retail is the worst and blah, 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 like, I genuinely thought like they were being kids about it, like they were just talking like kids, because I always felt mature for my age. So I don't know, I always took everything that people told me about retail work at like with a grain of salt, right? Anyway, so I'm a month in and I'm still like I finally got a bit of a pace going on with the job. Like, there's certain things that they will have me do, like fold the clothes, go to the fitting room, stuff like that, right? And so in my head, I'm like, okay, cool. Me being me, like I'm very quick. Like, I'm a quick learner, so you don't gotta talk to me once or twice. Like, I'm a quick learner. I clock in, whatever, and I was told, go to the fitting room and get so and so. Oh, we're gonna call this woman Rosa. They told me, please, as soon as you get settled in, go get Rosa out of the fitting room and cover for her so she can go on lunch. I said, okay. So I make my way to the fitting room and I tell Rosa, they told me to cover you so you can go to lunch. She was like, oh, perfect, like I'm ready for lunch. And she leaves, right? And before leaving, she tells me, you have this one cart that just came from the register. Can you please make sure to fold that clothes and put it away for me during my lunch? And I said, okay, because she had already finished pretty much the load that was already in the fitting room. So this was a new cart that just came in. So I was like, yeah, sure, I got you. So as I'm literally starting to fold, like maybe like 4 items in, Jessica walks in and she's like, Xiomara. And I was like, yes. And she goes, Xiomara, I need you to go to the register. Keep in mind, I've only been in this place 1 month. They have not even taught me how to use the register, guys. They have not taught me how to use the register. So in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, okay, like she's gonna teach me how to use the register, finally. So I make my way to the register. I'm waiting. And then like 2 seconds later, Jessica walks past me by the register And she's looking at me and I'm looking at her. And she's like, well, get to it. Like, start registering people, because the store was getting a little bit packed. So I looked at her and I was like, wait, what? And like, as soon as I could even like, before I could even say like, wait, I'm not trained for this. Like, before I could even say anything, this woman walks away. She walks away, you guys. And I was gonna go and run after her. But before I could even run after her, a customer had heard her say, start registering people. So the customer walked up to where I was standing at in the register. And I had to tell the person, the customer, I was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, could you just give me one minute, please? And she was like, oh, okay. And like, I don't blame her. Because clearly she was waiting in line. Like, she thought it was her turn. So then I'm like looking for Jessica, and Jessica disappeared. Like, she literally walked away for like a second. And when I went to like, after I told the customer, like, please give me 1 second, and I went to go look for Jessica, she was gone. So I was like, what the heck? What do I do? Like, and now my brain is like, what do I do? So then Angela, the angel from above, walks through, and I tell her, Angela, and she's like, yes. And I was like, what's her face? Jessica told me to handle the register, but I haven't even been trained for it. And then Angela goes, oh no, that's not right. Like, she should have known. Like, you're not trained for that. But she was like, but it's okay. Don't worry about it. Like, I'll just teach you real quick something so that you know. And I was like, okay. And so then the customer, see how she was standing right in my register, she like grabs her clothes and she's like passing it, and she's like, okay, so now you're gonna click here, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, whatever, right? And so then she looks at the line and she goes, maybe right now is not a good time for you to be at the register, and we should definitely train you, but right now is not the time because the store is packed. And so I said to her, oh, okay, well, what should I do then? And she tells me, I will cover your register. What were you doing? And I said, I was in the fitting room. And she tells me, oh, okay, no problem. Then she was like, you can stand right here and watch me do this other person real quick. And in case Jessica ever asks you to do this again, because she was like, I should like pre-train you just in case. At least 1 or 2 things I should train you how to do them. So I was like, okay. So I stood there, right? And she's like handling customers. And then one customer that she was handling, their order was kind of difficult, so we were standing there for a hot minute, but whatever. So time has passed because I'm watching her like take customers and stuff. And so then finally she's like, wait, you told me you were covering the fitting room, right? And I was like, yeah. And she goes, okay, well, you can go back to the fitting room. I'll try to handle this, and like I'll train you another time, because the store just kept getting more and more packed. So I was like, okay, no problem. So I go back to the fitting room. Keep in mind, I was the only other person covering Rosa. So obviously nobody was attending to the fitting room because I was up in the register doing nonsense because of Jessica. So I go back to the fitting room and I start folding the clothes like I'm supposed to. And I start putting some stuff back. And I kid you not, time flies by. Like a good 15 more minutes pass by as I'm folding and putting back stuff. And suddenly I can hear Rosa. So in my head, I'm like, oh, okay, like as soon as Rosa comes in, like it's probably gonna be my turn to go do something else, and like they're probably gonna take me out the fitting room, whatever. So Rosa comes in, and again, I can hear her. She's like behind me walking into the fitting room, and I'm folding clothes, and I can hear her. And then suddenly, I don't hear nothing. I guess she noticed me still folding the same clothes that was in that bin. And I kid you guys not, like before I could even fully turn my body to look behind me to see if Rosa literally came into the room, as soon as I'm turning around, all of a sudden, all I feel is pop, right in my arm. And it takes me back, and I'm like, and I turn around, and Rosa's standing behind me with a rolled up magazine, and she had hit me with it. And then she does it again. She had hit me right here. And so like, I guess she knew that she missed because it kind of like hit me right there. So she hits me again. And this time it actually hits me in my arm. I never had a situation where a coworker put their hands on me, let alone use items to put their hands on me, whatever. Like, never have I ever had a coworker do that. I'm taken aback because I'm like, what the fuck? And then, I kid you guys not. Like, after she did that to me, she starts coming for me, you guys. Like, when I say she starts coming for me, bro, she was like, what is all this? You were supposed to be done with all of this. I'm gonna accuse you with Jessica. Like, she was like, you're gonna get your first write-up because, like, you're not even doing your job. Like, what were you doing this whole time? Like, I just went to lunch for 30 minutes and you couldn't even get it done. And she's cussing me out, you guys, like, straight up, like, yelling at me and everything. And I'm like, what in the world? And one thing about Rosa is a Hispanic woman, and she speaks Spanish. I'm fluent in Spanish. So I don't know if she thought that I didn't speak Spanish properly or what, but she started coming at me in Spanish too. She was like, ay, Dios mío, no puedo, like, I can't with you. And I was like, I'm still processing that you just hit me with a magazine. Like, and then she's cussing at, like, she's coming at me, cussing at me, and I'm like, what do I say to her? Like, what do I say to, I don't know. So immediately my stomach starts turning because I finally process, like, what she just did. And in my head, again, never had to deal with somebody putting their hands on me. So I was like, what do I do now? Like, what do I do? What do I do? And so immediately I was like, nah, I have to tell somebody. Like, this is not gonna sit well with me. Like, this woman, Rosa, I think she felt like she could get away with whatever she wanted to do because, again, she is older. She's been with the company for mad long. So I guess everybody, like, all the coworkers, ever since the first day that I was there, they would always come at Rosa, give her hugs, and be like, mami, abuela, or whatever. Like, they would say stuff like that. So clearly she was close with the company. But whatever. She was close with the company, the coworkers. So I didn't know, like, if anyone would even believe me if I said, like, yo, Rosa just fucking put her hands on me. And so I was frustrated. And I was like, this is not going to sit well with me if I, like, just continue and go back to work. Like, no, that's not okay. She just touched me. She doesn't even know me like that. I don't know her like that. And, like, she cussed me out and, like, was coming at me for not finishing, like, folding up the clothes. And I was like, nah, that's not okay. I can't. Like, I just couldn't leave it alone. So then my heart tells me, if you freaking go to Jessica's going to tell you to grow the fuck up and leave it alone. Because the attitude that Jessica will give me all the time, you guys, was always just kind of like, I'm better than you. Like, that type of vibe. And the vibe that the other woman, Natalie, would give me was kind of like yo mando. Like, you can't talk back to me because me and Jessica are very close. So, like, she felt like she could talk sideways because her and Jessica were very, very, very close. So I knew in my heart and soul, like, I can't, like, even if I wanted to tell them, like, they won't take me seriously. They won't. So I walk into the back room because I was like, yo, I either need to, like, get my phone, pretend like my walkie's not working. Like, I need to see if Angela is in the back room. Thank the Lord, she was. Now, normally, I would not interrupt nobody during their lunchtime because that's their lunchtime. I would not do that to nobody. But on this particular day, I was feeling some type of way because I was like, I just got hit. I just got cussed at. Like, I need to say something. And I do not feel comfortable working alongside Rosa. Like, I don't. Like, I'm not comfortable. So I made the decision. I was like, I know, because when I saw Angela, she was eating. She was in her lunchtime, right? So I made the decision. I was like, look, you're not going to forgive yourself if you don't freaking tell somebody, like, I don't feel comfortable, right? So I was like, Angela might hate me for this. She really might. I approached Angela and I was like, Angela, I'm really sorry. I know you're on your lunch break, but can I tell you something? Like, can I talk to you? And she said, yeah, like, what's up? And I was like, I'm really sorry. Like, I really wouldn't have bothered you during your lunch break, but it's just that something just happened and I feel like I need to talk to somebody about it. And she was like, yeah, sure. Like, do you want it to be in private? Is it serious? And I was like, well, I can tell you right now, because there was like nobody around us. Like the people who were eating lunch, they were not that close to her. So I was like, I mean, I can just tell you. And so she was like, yeah, sure. What happened? And so she's like giving me her full attention. And I tell her, you see how you asked me to go back to the fitting room and like finish up what I was doing there until Rosa got back? And she was like, yeah. I was like, well, she got back and I didn't even notice when she did it, but she basically, while she walked into the room, she ended up grabbing a newspaper, rolled it up, and like she hit me with it twice. And then she started coming at me because I didn't finish folding all the clothes and putting it back. And she was like, wait, what? Like she did it like a double take, and she was like, wait, did I just hear you correctly? And I was like, yeah. Like she put her hands on me. And she was like, that is in no way ever tolerated. So she was like, thank you so much for telling me. We need to discuss this. Can you give me 1 second? And I said, okay. And so she grabs her radio and she calls Jessica. And Jessica fucking tells her like, oh, I can't really talk right now, in a meeting. And so then she goes, all right, sure. So she calls freaking Natalie. And Natalie answers and she's like, be there in a minute. So Natalie comes in, whatever, right? And instead of Angela having me explain what just happened, Angela just straight up like meets her by the door, stops Natalie and says, so-and-so did this to Zio. Like Rosa did this to Zio. And Natalie got like taken aback. And so she was like, okay, give me 1 second. Let me go talk to Rosa before I talk to Xiomara. So literally I'm just standing there for like a good 10 minutes while I see that Natalie goes talks to Rosa and Angela is standing with me and she's like, we're gonna give her some time. She's gonna go speak to Rosa and then we're gonna come and speak to you to see what you would like to happen. And I was like, okay. And so then I kid you guys not, Natalie was taking mad long. Like I don't understand what was so like why she was taking mad long, but she was taking mad long. Angela tells me, hey, if you don't mind, while she's talking to her, I'm gonna have you go to the baby section. And I was like, yeah, sure, okay. And so as I'm making my way to the baby section, I see Natalie. And Natalie is packing up orders. So in my head, I'm like, I thought you were gonna go talk to Rosa. So like what? So it caught me off guard and I didn't say nothing. I just like kind of walked past her because I was like, did she forget? Like, am I tripping? I don't know. So I try to ignore her, avoid her. And Natalie goes, Xiomara, can you come over here? And because, you know, she saw me. And so I was like, yes. And I walk up to her and I'm like, yes. And she goes, Xiomara, can you tell me what happened? Like in your own words, what happened? And I was like, oh, okay. And so I explained to her like, oh, I was covering for Rosa in the fitting room when Jessica told me to go to the register. And when I did go to the register, she left me alone. And then Angela was helping me out and she had me watch her do some stuff. And then afterwards, she noticed that the store was getting packed. So there was no point for me to be standing there just watching her. So she asked me to go back to the fitting room to finish up what I was doing beforehand. And I told her. And that's when I started folding clothes. And about 15 minutes afterwards, Rosa walked in. And instead of asking me why I had not finished doing, like, folding up the clothes, she grabbed a magazine, rolled it up, and she hit me with it. Like, she hit me twice. And then she started coming at me. Like, she started coming at me because I didn't get the job done, saying that she's gonna accuse me, that I'm gonna get a write-up, that I should get fired, and that I'm lazy, that I don't do work, and blah, 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 right? And so then she's like, and what did you say? And I was like, I didn't say nothing. I was dumbfounded. I had no words to say to her. And I was like, I had no words to say other than, okay. Like, what did you expect me to say? What did you want me to say to that? Like, you know what? Like, I didn't say nothing. And so then Natalie's ass, bro, she looks me dead straight in the face. Dead straight in the face. And she goes, well, you shouldn't have responded. Like, you shouldn't have been talking back to her. All I said was okay. All I said was okay. So that's what she says to me. And then she tells me, I'm going to need you to go to the fitting room and finish up the basket. And as I'm trying to tell her, I do not feel comfortable being next to Rosa. Please do not make me go there. She literally tells me that I need to finish up what Rosa said that I needed to finish. The clothes that I needed to fold and put it away. I didn't say nothing because I was like, okay, like, she's my manager. She's telling me what to do. So I was like, okay. So I walked back to the fitting room. And it's so freaking awkward, bro. Like, it's so freaking awkward because Rosa and I are just looking at each other. And Rosa is just giving me the stank face. And every time a coworker would, like, walk in to, like, say hi to Rosa because they were coming in for their shift or whatever, Rosa's just like, ugh. And, like, she would make faces at me. And, like, she would talk about me right in front of them. So then, like, thankfully, like, Angela walked through about, like, 10 minutes later and was like, Xiomara? And I was like, yeah. And, like, she could tell, bro, my face, I was not cheery. I was not smiling. I was not doing nothing other than I had a stank face. I was so upset about everything that she looked at me. She goes, what are you doing here? And I told her, I was like, Natalie told me to come in here. Like, straight up. I was like, Natalie told me to come in here and to finish my job. And she was like, that is not appropriate. How could she have told you that? Like, I already told you that. You already told us that you were feeling uncomfortable. You should be downstairs. Like, that's why I put you downstairs so you don't have to be next to Rosa. And I was like, well, I guess Natalie doesn't think it's that serious because she told me to come in here and, like, finish up my job. And so then she's like, this is not right. Just, like, go downstairs and, like, I'll talk to Natalie. And I was like, okay. So I grab my stuff and I go downstairs. And that's when I see Angela approach Natalie. And all I'm seeing is Natalie making, like, faces like, ugh. So I don't know. I don't know what that conversation was like. I don't know what they said to each other. I don't know. But at the end of the day, all I know is that I ended up working the baby section downstairs. And that was that. And I kid you guys not, like, that interaction, that right there just told me everything that I needed to know, bro. Like, it told me everything that I needed to know about Natalie and Rosa and Jessica and Angela. Like, it just told me who each one of them were, the type of personalities and the type of people they are. I'm working a night shift. And again, they got me in the fitting room all by myself. That's not a problem. I've worked the fitting room by myself. Jessica is calling all the employees on the walkie. And she's like, guys, whoever's working section A, we're going to call it section A. She was like, whoever's working section A, like, please be on high alert. There's a woman in blue jeans and a black, like, windbreaker or something like that. I don't remember. Please be on high alert. We have high suspicions that she's here to steal. In my head, I'm like, oh my God, someone came to rob. I hear my name on the walkie, and they're like, she's going into the fitting room. Keep your eyes open. I was like, all right, cool. We're gonna call this guy Kevin. Kevin is the security guard, but he was the one who, like, He was always on high alert. Kevin walks to the fitting room and he makes eye contact with me. Like, he doesn't walk inside of the fitting room, but he walks up to the door of the fitting room. And he looks at me and he makes eye contact with me. And he like mouths to me and he goes, like basically telling me like pay attention to her because the woman had just walked in. I look at her like side eye and I'm like, hi. So I give him the signal like I got you. And so I kid you guys not, I tell this woman, like, she tells me, she's like, hey, I'm here to try on 2 pairs of jeans. And she goes like this to the pairs of jeans. She got 1 jean here, 1 jean here. And she's like, I'm gonna try on these 2 pairs of jeans. And I was like, okay. And I tell her, you can go into fitting room number 2. And she goes, thank you, sweetheart, thank you. And she walks in, right? So I sneakily walk behind towards like where the fitting room entrance is at. I walk there and I radio Kevin. I'm like, Kevin, pick up, Kevin. Jessica, the lead. Jessica answers the radio and she goes, Kevin is busy right now. What do you need? And I tell over the radio, I was like, the person that you guys are looking for is in the fitting room. She's in fitting room number 2, and she walked in with 2 pairs of jeans. And Jessica's like, okay, stay on high alert. I was like, okay. So keep in mind, this job I had during the pandemic. So when people would come in and go into the fitting room, my job would be to, as soon as they get out, to wipe down the fitting room, right? So this woman walks out and I'm looking around like behind the, like where the entrance is at of the fitting room. And I'm looking around. And Jessica nor Kevin are anywhere to be found. So I'm like, bro, like this woman is about to walk out. And she gives me 2 pairs of jeans back. So in my head, I got thrown back a little and I'm like, I thought she was stealing though. Like I thought she was gonna steal. So I look at the 2 pairs of jeans and I'm like, thank you so much. Like, come back soon. And I put it back. And she's like, oh, thank you, darling, blah, blah, blah. And she walks out. And as soon as she's walking out, I go into the fitting room. And there's a pair of old, dusty, crusty jeans stuffed behind the stall of the fitting room. So I call out for Kevin. And I'm like, Kevin. She's running out. And Kevin, I had seen him from afar, so I called him. That's why I called him. I was like, Kevin, she's running out. And the woman, she had like this plan already that as soon as she walked out of the fitting room, she was gonna like make a little turn around the clothes and then book it out the door. So when I was calling Kevin, she was still right next to the fitting room. He had a lot of time to just go straight to the front of the door, grab her ass. But no, that did not happen. And you know what upset me the most? That as I'm telling Kevin to go after her because she left the fitting room. Jessica was at the door and told me why the woman, the thief, she still ran away. She still made it out. She was able to leave the store with no problem because Jessica did not do anything to stop her. This is the part that really upsets me the most though. Jessica let her go. Jessica did not run up from behind and like try to tackle her, try to like stop her or anything. She let her get away. So tell me why Jessica approaches me up into the fitting room and starts yelling at me. And she starts telling me, it's your fault. You let her get away. Why would you let her get away? You were supposed to hold her and this and that. And I'm like, you are not about to turn this on me. I did everything that I was told to do. I was told that if she walks out of the fitting room, to alert Kevin, to let Kevin know so that Kevin could do his job and go and get her. So the fact that this woman, Jessica, is out here yelling at me, saying that I'm the one at fault, when she was at the front of the door, you guys. She was at the front of the door, and she still let the woman go. She didn't even do anything to stop her. So she wants to come at me, say that it's my fault. I left it alone. I didn't say nothing because she just kept getting louder and louder and louder. And she did make me feel some type of way. But where she was yelling at me, it was in front. Like, it was in front of, like, all the customers, in front and center of the store. Like, it just wasn't professional. And I feel like I would have also looked unprofessional if I would have, like, started talking to her back. So I just didn't say nothing. Like, I just had to go. And Kevin, he saw my face. He saw that I was, like, highly upset about the situation, especially because, like, first of all, it's my first time being in a store like this. Like, I've never done retail. Second of all, it's my first time having to experience somebody stealing and me have to, like, be a part of it, where it's like you had me be in the middle of it, basically. So it really did upset me. And, like, he saw my face. He approached me afterwards, after, like, the whole yelling. He approached me, and he was so polite. He was so sweet. He came up to me and he was like, I just want you to know, like, it's your first time. Don't be too heavy on yourself. Like, she was being harsh. It's not your fault that they ran away. It happens. It was like, just for next time, like, you know, next time, I promise I'll pick up the radio. I'm so sorry that I couldn't pick it up. It's just that there was somebody else in the store who was, like, trying to steal. So I'm really, really sorry that I couldn't get your, like, I couldn't hear you the first time you called me. If I would have heard you, like, you know, obviously I would have been here. I would have been here. And I was like, nah, it's cool. It's cool, because at the end of the day, like, what are you gonna do? The woman already left. What are you gonna do? Nothing. So I just kind of left it alone, and I told him, I was like, it's cool. Like, it's genuinely cool. I just didn't like that she yelled at me like that in front of everybody, but whatever. I'm not gonna say nothing, because when this happened, like, I was just kind of, like, already looking forward to my last day working here, because this was not the place that I wanted to be at. So I told him it was cool. It's just whatever. But that happened, and I'll never forget it, because, like, she hella made me feel stupid, you guys. Like, hella. And she made me feel like this was my fault. She made me feel like I'm the one who let her get away. She made me feel stupid, and she embarrassed me, like, plain and simple. That was all. I freaking hated that job. Like, I hated it so much. And it was only 3 months of me being there, and so much shit happened. So much. Like, why? What was the reason? What was the reason? Genuinely, what was the reason? I don't understand at all. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know how you feel about these stories. Let me know what you would have done if someone would have hit you at your job, number one. And number two, let me know if I was in the wrong during the whole robbery thing, because I feel like I wasn't wrong. I feel like I did everything that I had to do. Plus, please remember, this is my first retail job ever, so I've never had to deal with stuff like this at all, like, ever. And not only that, you guys, but I know I was 21 when this happened. I'm 22. This happened last year, like a year and a half ago. This happened, right? But, like, it was my first ever retail job. All the other jobs that I've ever worked in my life were all just, like, actual adult jobs. Like, they weren't retail. They weren't, like, fast food. None of that. All my other jobs have always been working with people who are older than me and stuff like that. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I'm not bashing retail jobs. Like, I know that there are some stores, some companies out there that probably run really, really well. And you maybe have had very positive experiences working at retail, but I've never had like anything like this happened to me before. This is my first time working retail, and for this to have happened to me, yeah, no, never again. I'm never going back to retail. I can't do it. Those are the 2 little mini stories for today. I will definitely try to continue the series and just tell you guys more and more about my worst job experiences. I'll probably put like a bonus one on Instagram, so if you follow me on there, you'll probably see it, and if you don't, you should definitely go follow me. Bye guys.